a lot more time, right? So what we are really saying is, that the modern information access challenge, it's not about the ability to capture and store data. Today, companies do spend, I think the underlying technologies have also matured significantly. The unit cost of storage has come down drastically. So I think companies are spending extremely large amount of money and technology in capturing and storing that information. Now, it's more like, how do we make this easily accessible, right? I think that's the problem, of or rather, that the modern day data problem is, right? How do you really make this easily accessible to your users, right? That's where we are saying the technology as solution using conversational AI, could be really extremely useful, right? So basically, we're saying when your users have momentary questions on data, right, rather than them looking at large reports, why can't they just ask a question? Right? Why can't they just have them just ask? It's I've given some examples of these questions. I mean, these are all again from users, or rather, the applications which we have built for some of our customers, in the engineering field or in the healthcare field and all that, right? I think rather than them looking at or trying to get these answers from a metric, in terms of they ask the question and then the system kind of responds back. See, as you can see, it's like for a question like, hey, sales by category, it just brings back the metric, and along with that, so I can just go and ask, hey, so I just ask this question, and then it just gives me, hey, this is the segment, 54% of it, this is the amount, this many orders, all these stuff. It kind of brings it back, and right. And in addition to that, it also gives me a whole bunch of insights, right? Not just related to this, hey, what, within this consumer segment, right? So it just tells me, just this is how the various shipping modes were used. And then, so central region is the one, which has a significant amount of, from this particular segment. All these kind of insights related to this question, is this, rather than providing a metric which the users try to interpret and get their answers on. Now we are just trying to reverse that. Hey, why can't we just let the users ask the question? Because each one of their information needs are very, very different. Why can't they just let them ask a question and then let the application respond back? I mean, it can respond back in text or metrics like this, or as I said, it can even be something like, so it's just going to give me this metric. I mean, if you want, I can ask them, hey, just break it down by ship mode, all these kind of stuff. That you can change the visualization types. See, it's the key thing here is, as I said, I started with this pretext of this problem, in terms of how every question or every additional metric kind of becomes a project. This low code platform, what we have, it's kind of takes care of that. It's like, once you connect, or rather, once you train this application on the particular data set, everything comes out of the box, without writing any single line of code. That's the whole idea behind it. I'll also talk about it, just a little bit in a few minutes. But I thought, okay, I'll just give these examples in terms of what we really mean by leveraging conversational AI related technologies, for data analytics. I think, which is basically like the examples I showed you, the ability to ask questions, in English. See, in fact, since we're talking about language, right? Let me give another example. Say I can say that, hey, so I'm just asking, hey, give me the furniture orders in Texas. So it just says, now I can just have, answer, continue the conversation like this. So now, it just knows we are talking about the furniture orders, right? I think, Texas was a state. Now I just asked using a pronoun, I just asked, how about California? It kind of knows, has these intelligence in the sense, hey, you know what, California, it just replaced Texas with California and still gave me the furniture orders, okay, for California. I can even continue, it's like this. It's basically the furniture orders in California is what, it's going to give me. So it's like furniture order in California. I just added a time dimension to it. It just gave me that order. So it's like, it has gone up, and it also gives me a few more inputs, in the sense, it's since we are talking about a specific year, it says, hey, you know what, compared to the previous year, it has gone up by delta and all these. I mean, so that the way you can engage in a conversation, it's again another example of how I mean, we are trying to apply this conversational AI related stuff for data analytics, right? So absolutely, it's a free format. English questions you can ask on any of the attributes. So what do we really mean? I mean, what does this data set contain? You can just see this is the data glossary. I mean, all the metrics here, the data attributes available, the different categories, the different measures. Using any of these data attributes, now you have an ability to engage in a conversation. Right? So that's a whole idea behind, I mean, trying to leverage conversational AI. Now, I'll just quickly get into the data activation part, right? So I mean, again, to simplify it, so today, if we are consuming data through dashboards, so say, for example, if I need to get the answer to this question, which region is doing well in product XYZ, there are two ways I can do it. One is the way, conventionally, which we do today, just it's basically trying to look at a dashboard, just playing around with it, and with an ability to assimilate this information, or, spending that much amount of time trying to get that answer, right? Or rather, why can't I just ask someone, just like the way the examples I showed you, right? I mean, why can't we just ask that question and then, very extremely pointed questions, and then, for it to respond back.